welcome. You're watching the News Hour Agenda. I'm Padmaja Joshi. Let's face it, the problem is very real and it is staring us in the face. It's a crisis like no other, where the number of people who are infected is at an all-time high with the COVID-19 virus, and also the number of deaths that are being reported. What is most alarming at this point is the very high positivity rate that is being reported from certain states. The latest data, in fact, which has come from Delhi, is alarming. A high positivity rate of over 30%. And recognizing that, today, after holding a series of meetings between yesterday and today, the Prime Minister at 8:45 p.m. addressed the country. The idea was to send out a reassuring message about how the country needs to rally together at this point. Also, lives and livelihoods are equally important, which is why the Prime Minister very specifically asked states to take calls about what is best for them, but to focus on micro-containment zones. Lockdowns should be treated as a last resort. This is keeping in mind the economic impact that the country has witnessed from last year. First, listen in to the key points that the Prime Minister made today.
इसके लिए भी काम करें कि डर का माहौल कम हो सके, लोग अफवाह और भ्रम में न आए। साथियों, आज की स्थिति में हमें देश को लॉकडाउन से बचाना है। मैं राज्यों से भी अनुरोध करूंगा कि वो लॉकडाउन को अंतिम विकल्प के रूप में ही इस्तेमाल करें। लॉकडाउन से बचने की भरपूर कोशिश करनी है और माइक्रो कंटेनमेंट जोन पर ही ध्यान केंद्रित करना है। हम अपनी अर्थव्यवस्था की सेहत भी सुधारेंगे और देशवासियों की सेहत का भी ध्यान रखेंगे। आज देश दिन रात काम कर रहा है। बीते कुछ दिनों में जो फैसले लिए गए हैं, जो कदम उठाए गए हैं, वो स्थिति को तेजी से सुधारेंगे। इस बार कोरोना संकट में देश के अनेक हिस्से में ऑक्सीजन की डिमांड बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ी है। इस विषय पर तेजी से और पूरी संवेदनशीलता के साथ काम किया जा रहा है। केंद्र सरकार, राज्य सरकारें, प्राइवेट सेक्टर, सभी की पूरी कोशिश है कि हर जरूरतमंद को ऑक्सीजन मिले। ऑक्सीजन प्रोडक्शन और सप्लाई को बढ़ाने के लिए भी कई स्तरों पर उपाय किए जा रहे हैं। राज्यों में नए ऑक्सीजन प्लांट्स हो, 1 लाख नए सिलेंडर पहुंचाने हो, औद्योगिक इकाइयों में इस्तेमाल हो रही ऑक्सीजन का मेडिकल इस्तेमाल हो, ऑक्सीजन रेल हो, हर प्रयास किया जा रहा है।
Now, at a time when the country is in the middle of a crisis, the opposition is questioning whether this 20-minute speech was enough, especially at a time when we are looking for solutions. Where are the beds? Why is oxygen in short supply? States like Maharashtra and Delhi are saying that there are hospitals which may run out of oxygen within hours, which means that the patients who are admitted in ICUs there will be left gasping for their last breath. At a time like this, was the crisis response enough? Does the country deserve to hear more details, more specifics of what is happening? And what is the roadmap? What do we have to look forward to at a time when each and every person is now desperate, seeking help, and getting a feeling that the system is broken? Is it time that, using this as a starting point, India unites to fight the second wave, which the Prime Minister called a storm, together?
You're watching the News Hour at 10. Debate number 1 on Time Now. Super Prime Time.
All right. Before we start, I would like to request our entire panel, because everyone watching right now will be looking for some specifics, some data, and some reassurance. So please, let's not be rhetorical and do tutu meme. Questions are all valid. Instead of political point scoring, please ask specific questions and please give specific answers. Let me introduce to you Sujata Paul, political analyst; Abdul Basit, General Secretary and spokesperson of the RJD; Ghanshyam Tiwari, National spokesperson, Samajwadi Party; Chairman of Nephron, Dr. Sanjeev Bagai; Sanju Verma, National spokesperson of the BJP, to whom I'll ask the first question. Where are the specifics? Today everyone is asking Sanju Verma, where do I get that oxygen cylinder from? Where is the ICU bed? Everyone was hoping to hear that.
You know, Padmaja, since you asked for specifics, let me give you specifics. The Prime Minister, I think, deserves applause for being absolutely right on dot. Let me just take 10 seconds to say that he did not sensationalize. He took stock of the situation. He took cognizance of the problem. And as they say, taking cognizance and acknowledging the problem to start with is half the battle won. When you ask me of specifics, and now please don't interrupt me, let's be very clear, Padmaja. The central government, the Modi government, if you will, has gone out on a limb, be educating, be the Prime Minister, repeatedly putting everything, his personal credibility at stake and calming down frayed nerves, be distributing vaccines to states, be airlifting oxygen on a priority basis from Gujarat to Maharashtra, be giving 350 metric tons of oxygen just 3 days back, which even Piyush Goyal tweeted about in line with Arvind Kejriwal's demands. I can tell you, Danke ki chok par, as they say, that the Modi government has done what it can, what it should, and what it ought to do. But let me tell you that the states have been absolutely irresponsible, and you can troll me for saying that I'm politicizing this, but let the grim truth be told. The biggest super spreader even today is Maharashtra, accounting for 34% of India's total deaths. We have 20 lakh active cases, of which 6.3 lakh active cases are from Maharashtra alone. So be it active caseload, be it the highest number of mortality, be it the highest number of infections, the Maha Vasuli Agadi stands at number one.
Okay, fair enough. But like I said, please let's try and look for solutions and not finger pointing. I was hoping, again, at this time, finger pointing is going to be counterproductive, which is perhaps the reason why Ghanshyam Tiwari, let's not get into the finger pointing. Ghanshyam Tiwari, the idea is that at this time, the Prime Minister could have also rattled off this data and said the maximum number of cases are coming from Delhi, are coming from Mumbai, are coming from cities in Maharashtra. Instead, he says, let's do this together. Let's fight as a country this storm which is upon us, not individually as states who are fighting with each other.
Well, Padmaja, I respect Prime Minister's spirit, lately awakened while he was sleeping at the wheels and the car crashed. That aside, if the spirit was visible in Dr. Harsh Vardhan's response to Dr. Manmohan Singh's letter, then I would have appreciated it more. If the spirit was visible in the way the government...
You do not tolerate
Okay, yes, please. I made a request at the beginning. I am going to reiterate it. Let's not try and pepper our responses with rhetoric. Otherwise, we will go nowhere. There will be no answers. There will be no solution. We'll just keep yelling at each other. All right. Please, Akhilesh Yadav is COVID positive. He's possibly in isolation. Can we please reduce everyone's audio right now? Ghanshyam Tiwari, I'm reiterating my request. All I'm saying is, do you think that it was required for the Prime Minister to go into specifics when, as the PM laid out a broad roadmap and said, we are doing X, Y and Z. Let's not aim for a lockdown. Let's aim for containment. And we are also working on beds, oxygen and vaccine. Ghanshyam Tiwari.
There are specific things. If this government is true to the Prime Minister's spirit of working togetherness, there are specific things that this government needs to do. every day, including, as you know, that you and I present ET on this debate often, Economic Times on this debate. Every day, the newspapers of this country are playing out imagery of burning fires. It breaks down people's heart. The imagery coming from Varanasi of a mother holding a dead child in an e-rickshaw, such image will break down our heart. The one thing that this government must do, which is not dependent on medical services, ensure that any person who passes away gets a good, respectful cremation. The images of people carrying dead bodies on a rickshaw, on a bike, or an auto are discouraging. Second thing that this government needs to do is, please, Sanju Verma, I was not interrupting you. The second thing that this government needs to do,
Why did Akhilesh Yadav
the second thing that this government needs to do is that there is a strong talent pool in this country that is available with respect to the.
Who
There is a
was
strong talent pool in this country that.
Rahul Gandhi and his cabal. Akhilesh Yadav and his
Can I
acolytes.
complete
Sonia
my
Gandhi and
point?
her cabal. And today this cabal says, oh my God, Prime Minister is, not well ahead of the curve. It is vaccine hypocrisy which is at the crux
Okay,
of the
Sanju Verma, please, can I please have silence for 20 seconds? Again, Ghanshyam Tiwari, while you're raising all of these very, very valid concerns, the positivity rate, the number of deaths, the number of cases, and this is where we get into that avoidable politics, is the highest right now in Maharashtra. And every single one of these heartbreaking images, it is multiplied manyfold when you're talking about the single state of Maharashtra. 60% of our cases are coming from one state. And I still find it very, flummoxing that rather than the state being held to account, it is only and only the center which is singled out. Could there more have been done at the level of each state and center? Yes. But is blame being wrongly apportioned? Wouldn't you agree, Ghanshyam Tiwari? If 60% of the cases are coming from Maharashtra, then surely some modicum of blame is to be placed at their doors? No.
Place it. But the fact is that when the Prime Minister, the Home Minister, the ex-Health Minister, Mr. J.P. Nadda, when the Chief Minister of the largest state of the country, Yogi Adityanath, when the entire government camps in Bengal for a election, and the health minister is caught only tweeting and retweeting Prime Minister rallies, it means somebody was slipping at the wheel. But I don't want to use the airtime to discuss that. I just want to place 3 suggestions because the Prime Minister has spoken. One suggestion is, please give a respectful...
Sir, everyone went for rallies. Everyone went for rallies, and those who didn't go for rallies didn't go out of a concern for public health. They just didn't materialize. They were holding rallies in Kerala. They were holding rallies in Tamil Nadu. Then COVID was over. You are the one who spoke of politics, sir, and political rallies. Wasn't the Samajwadi Party holding rallies and meetings?
BJP
For the bypolls, for the panchayat elections in Uttar Pradesh?
How are we going to debate? If Sanju Verma ji is going to interrupt every second, I will not be able to...
I'm just asking you. You brought in the rally, so I'm just asking you a counter.
Complete a sentence.
Everyone makes these points, but sits on a moral high ground based on what?
Please allow me to complete. I did not take any more. Telling that this government can provide a respectful cremation service to every citizen who passes away is not moral high ground. It's a very simple suggestion. Telling that India has 150,000 NEET PG candidates who are about to write exams. Some of these people can be tapped to provide counseling to any patient who tests positive remotely on phone is not moral high ground. It's a simple suggestion. There are simple things that this government can do that it is not doing. If you look at the overall data, you talk about positivity rate. The data was suggestive. In October, there is data on mutants. If you look at the survey, the R number that appeared in March, look at how it went from 0.9 to roughly 2.82 in Uttar Pradesh alone. This government cannot say that they did not see it coming. They saw it coming. It was just that they were too focused on Bengal, and as a result, the nation is facing this doomsday scenario. But we can still walk out of it if the Prime Minister is serious about his spirit to work together.
Okay, so the center was focused on Bengal. The BJP was focused on Bengal. What was then the Shiv Sena or the Aam Aadmi Party or the Congress or the NCP focused on? Because if you are going to have specific blame being apportioned, all these specifics will also be asked of you. All right, Dr. Bagai, I want to get you in. Here is somebody who was looking for, everyone being rallied together. But that was not enough. Do you agree? And in fact, a lot of these, and I would say rather crass WhatsApp jokes are now doing the rounds, where people are saying the broad message was that you're on your own.
Okay, so good evening, Padmaja. Good evening, everyone. I think if we are going to get stuck between religion and politics, we'll be making a mockery of ourselves, not only in front of our citizens, but even the international audience. It doesn't serve well. It doesn't argue well for us. We know that we are in an unforeseen, worst public health crisis ever seen. And I hope we never see this ever again. There's fear, anxiety, there is panic, total confusion as far as in Delhi is concerned. And without going into the politics, I'm not a politician, I don't want to get into that. But I think this was a much needed address from the PM to bring about a little bit of calm and reassurance. He's not going to spread out on a national media in a 10 to 12 or 15-minute speech as to the nitty-gritties and every line item which is being worked out behind. There was praise for the healthcare workers, which will rejuvenate a very tired workforce in India, which has been working without holidays, including working Sundays, for the last 15 months. Just going very quickly into 3 or 4 suggestions, Padmaja, and through your very prestigious channel, if it can reach the government. I would like ring vaccination and target vaccination. That means the areas and pockets and regions which are of high intensity as far as infectivity is concerned, hit them hard, hit them now. Bring the infectivity rate down. Point number 2 is it's time now that we can't keep testing the entire country time and again with RT-PCRs, time and again, and each person can have the test done 4 or 5 times. It's time to bring about a vaccine passport for those people who are fully immunized after 45 days of the first shot. That means 2 shots and 15 days hence. Point number 3, I would like a complete new vertical of home triage. There are far too many asymptomatic patients, mild patients, and indeed non-COVID patients just with fever, which are flogging the hospitals under the fear. I would like a home triage team, area-wise and company-wise, which can look after them. It will decompress and decongest the hospitals, which will give more breathing space for us. Point number 4, I would like a complete, comprehensive, digitally enhanced version of a supply chain management. After being for 38 years in healthcare, it is a crying shame, absolute shame, to see patients going from ER to ER, casualty to casualty in want of a bed, or want of an ICU, of a want of a simple oxygen cylinder. This is not fair. This is just not acceptable. This is zero tolerance. Now, whether it is A government in the state or B government in the state, we as healthcare professionals are not interested in that. Our job is to save lives. And let me tell you, if we don't put ourselves together now... I
totally agree. In fact,
the aftermath will be immense.
If instead of finger pointing and blame game, some really relevant questions were asked of the government, it would be such a huge relief. For example, Sanju Verma, and I have to say this on behalf, I think, of everyone watching right now. Why are our helplines found so wanting? Most of the COVID helplines that people are calling upon are either non-functional or nobody receives them, and it's understandable because everyone is so overworked. Why can't we as a country have a helpline that actually gives us some data and reassures us? It's simply not happening, and you have to recognize that. Sanju Verma.
Padmaja, I think you raised a valid point. Now let me be as pointed as I can. I have tremendous respect for the medical fraternity, which also was applauded by the Prime Minister, and Dr. Bagai made some interesting points. I just want to ask one thing, Padmaja. And my question has the answer to what you asked me. Why is it that despite health being a state subject, I see nobody in the mainstream media pointedly saying Uddhav Thackeray istifa kar de rahe hain? I can bet on my last penny. If instead of Maharashtra, it has been Uttar Pradesh with more than 60,000 deaths, you know what the ticker on Times Now would have been? When will Yogi resign? If instead of Captain Amrinder Singh, where in Mohali, it is a 29% positivity rate, instead of Captain Amrinder Singh, if it had been Haryana, you would have run a ticker, when will ML Khattar resign? So first and foremost, I think the media should acknowledge what the Modi government is doing, take the state governments to task, ask for accountability from state governments. I can understand the medical fraternity.
Madam, everyone is taken to task and everyone is asked questions. If we are asking about the lack of a centralized helpline where more data is available, we are also asking why Captain Amrinder Singh is allowed for the farmers' protest to happen. So please, let's not shoot the messenger. This has become far too common a practice for all political parties. All right, so this is very, very clear. We have asked questions of everyone, and plenty questions have been asked of Uddhav Thackeray as well. Sujata Paul, answer. Sujata Paul. In fact, the more important question that I want to ask you, Sujata Paul, is that at this point, it is much easier to impose a lockdown. And that message has been very clearly conveyed by the Prime Minister. For the short-term gain, you are inflicting long-term pain. Look at the two states of Delhi and Maharashtra. You imposed a lockdown. Maharashtra did it with a notice of within a few hours. Delhi did it within a notice of few hours. With the result, you had a migrant exodus. What about that? Who takes responsibility for that? What about the super spreader that those large gatherings of migrants could form? Sujata Paul.
We are fighting a pandemic. It is a disease and this is a national disaster. In fact, it's an international disaster. Are we together as a country in fighting this, or are we going to talk about, state governments, central governments, or should central government and state governments come together? Let me assure you that the state government.
I don't know. You tell me.
Government, yes, I'm telling you, they would stand with the center.
Really?
If there was so,
really?
There wasn't so
Madam,
much
we just had an episode. We just had an episode that Remdesivir in Maharashtra, which was being brought for the state, was suddenly the focus of this political fight. And the manufacturer who was getting it on the request of the state government was detained by the police. That's the kind of empty politics that's happening in our country. It's shocking. The Remdesivir was being brought for people of the state, and this midnight police station tamasha was done, and today the government has accepted that yes, indeed, it was coming for the government.
No, the point here is today there is a shortage of oxygen cylinders. And you know why? Because the government took 8 months to ensure that they floated an online tender on the advice of the Central Medical Services Society on October 2020. After 8 months, now.
Okay. Now we have a lot of shouting. I think on the specific issue of the oxygen, I want people to hear this. Yes, Sujata Paul, what is your problem with the oxygen? What specific point do you want to make? Yes, go on, Sujata Paul.
What I'm telling you is that 162 oxygen plants, are supposed to be made, and they are going to cost only 201 crore 58 lakh rupees, out of which 33 are in place, and now the government is saying that we are going to speed up. And you are talking about different state governments, so let me tell you how many state governments have got, how many out of the 33 which have been installed. 5 have been installed in Madhya Pradesh, 4 in Himachal Pradesh, 3 each in Chandigarh, Gujarat and Uttarakhand. Mind you, think about the government here. 2 in Bihar, 2 in Karnataka, 2 in Telangana, 1 each in
So what's your point?
What I'm saying is that the government should have speeded this up. Ask Dr. Bagai, should this not have been speeded up? Should we have waited enough? Because now the government is saying that 55 will be in place by the end of this month. If we could do it at this speed, and only
So first of all, let's clarify on why there is a shortage of oxygen. Many people, Dr. Bagai, and I think we need to get a medical opinion on this. Dr. Bagai, why has the demand for oxygen gone up so suddenly? Was this because of laxity, or was this because of the nature of the second wave, because of which the critical patients have gone up? Why this sudden shortage? Dr.
In fact, there are 3 causes. Padmaja, there are 3 causes. And before I go into the causes, I will just request all political parties, just as a honest, very proud Indian and tax-paying citizen of India, that let's not fight with each other. This is the time. If we don't stand together, we are all devastated. So please stand with us. We need to fight this together. We can't fight it alone without the policymakers. There are 3 major causes of this oxygen scarcity. One is, of course, it's unprecedented. It's not a surge. It's just a perpendicular 90 degrees up line which has gone up. And the number of critical cases have gone up. There are hardly less than 54 ICU beds which are vacant in Delhi, as per the census which I saw at 7:30 in the evening today. We've never seen this kind of thing in almost 3 decades of practice in Delhi. Point number 2, and I would urge through again your channel to all the people who are watching this program, please do not hoard oxygen cylinders and different kind of devices at home, including Remdesivir and Tocilizumab. This is a complete crime what we are doing. These kind of things do not need to be stored. We are creating an artificial scarcity of this. And point number 3 is, within Delhi at least, they should have a smarter supply chain to make sure that we don't reach an end point as a dead point and then realize there is no way to reverse. So this could have been thought of a little earlier, but in hindsight, everyone is an Einstein. But I think now what we have to do is to make sure that any patient who requires critical care is not denied a critical bed. Any patient who's genuinely, ethically requiring a hospitalization bed is not denied a bed. And all asymptomatic, mild patients, non-COVID patients, be managed at home. Just 10 seconds, Padmaja. We know that it's my message really to everyone is, we know that this RMA virus is scavenging us. Can we make our DNA a mask? Can the citizens make our DNA a mask? Can we wear it every time we step out of the house? Can we wear it inside the house if we feel we have cold, cough, or fever? That's not tough for us. Can we do this for our own nation now? It is going to take decades for us to recover from this aftermath. I want everyone to wake up and walk with us. We've been walking non-stop for 15 months.
Yes. And now when that critical response has happened, Abdul Basit साहब, sorry आपको इतनी देर तक रुका के रखा, इससे पहले कि मैं आपके पास आऊं, now that oxygen is being ramped up, oxygen supply, and I want to give out some figures for this. Between February to April, the oxygen supply, medical oxygen, has increased by 4 times. We had 1273 metric tons per day being produced as of end of February, and as of April 17, that has gone up to 4739 metric tons per day. Oxygen express trains have been mobilized in order to carry this medicinal oxygen across the country, as along with oxygen cylinders. 162 pressure swing absorption plants have been sanctioned by centers to put up in public health facilities, and an additional 100 oxygen plants are in the pipeline. The thing is, all of this is possible only, Abdul Basit साहब, अगर लोग आपस में, अलग अलग राज्य आपस में झगड़ना बंद कर दें. अब जबकि ऑक्सीजन का बंटवारा हो रहा है हर राज्य के बीच में, हर कोई कह रहा है मुझे कम मिल रहा है, उसको ज्यादा मिल रहा है, उसकी जगह मेरे को दे दो. लोग तो हर ही कोई इंडियन है ना इस देश में. तो अगर 100 ऑक्सीजन सिलेंडर बन रहे हैं तो सबको मिलेंगे या किसी एक राज्य को ही मिलेगा और हम आपस में ही झगड़ के ऐसे रह जाएंगे? अब्दुल बासित साहब,
देखिए नंबर ऑफ पेशेंट अगर आप हिंदुस्तान में देखेंगे मैडम, नंबर ऑफ पेशेंट किस हिसाब से महाराष्ट्र में क्या रिक्वायरमेंट है, इसका एनालिसिस करना पड़ेगा. तो नरेंद्र मोदी सुबह उठकर कोई बात कह देंगे उसको हम लोग मान लेंगे, दिस इज नॉट पॉसिबल. आप देखिए दिल्ली में 1 लाख पेशेंट है, उसके हिसाब से आपको मैनेज करना है. और महाराष्ट्र में जो जिस तरीके से केवल यहाँ भी जिस प्रकार से शमशान और कब्रिस्तानों को बांटा गया है, इसी प्रकार प्रदेशों को भी बांटने की कोशिश की जा रही है. प्रदेशों को भी बांटने की कोशिश करी जा रही है. ये इस सरकार को अपनी इस्तीफा दे देना चाहिए.
कैसे प्रदेशों को बांटा जा रहा है? कैसे प्रदेशों को बांटा जा रहा है? क्या आपको पता है कि जो मीटिंग्स हो रही हैं, जो PSUs हैं जहां से ऑक्सीजन सिलेंडर जा रहे हैं, उसका एक बहुत बड़ा हिस्सा दिल्ली और महाराष्ट्र में जा रहा है? ये आंकड़े कोई बताएगा आपको, या टीवी पर बस बैठ के हम यही करते रहेंगे कि वो बीजेपी का राज्य है, वो कांग्रेस का राज्य है, वो फलाने का राज्य है? जो लोग उन राज्यों में रहते हैं वो है तो इंडियंस ना एट द एंड ऑफ द डे.
अगर दिल्ली में अगर 1 लाख
अब्दुल बासित साहब
500 सिलेंडर मिल रहे जी, अगर दिल्ली में 1 लाख सिलेंडर की जरूरत है, उसे 500 मिल रहे हैं, तो ये तो कोई मतलब ये किसी प्रकार का औचित्य नहीं है ना. इसमें कहीं ना कहीं सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट को एक पॉलिसी बना के, इमीडिएट पॉलिसी बनाकर सभी राज्यों को एक समान देखना पड़ेगा. चाहे सरकार उसमें किसी भी चाहे बिहार में जेडीयू की सरकार हो, चाहे महाराष्ट्र में कांग्रेस का ज्वाइंट वेंचर हो, चाहे दिल्ली में आम आदमी की सरकार हो, सभी को एक साथ देखना पड़ेगा. देश की हालात भयावह स्थिति में है.
संजू वर्मा.
यस पद्मजा, एक चीज जो प्रधानमंत्री ने अपने स्पीच में बहुत साफ शब्दों में कही, वो थी, वो बार बार उन्होंने कहा हमको धैर्य से पेश आना है, अनुशासन दिखाना है, अनुशासनहीनता से काम नहीं चलेगा. एंड आई थिंक वन वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग थिंग ही सेड कि हमारे पास हौसला भी है, तैयारी भी है. एंड ही डिड पॉइंटेडली से दैट ही applauds India's private sector, their innovation, private enterprise. Because let's not forget, Padmaja, let's not fool ourselves. Be it Rahul Gandhi and his cabal, be it the clubhouse gang, they have been constantly rubbishing India's private sector by maligning the Ambanis and Adanis, saying, middlemen have taken over the country. Even look at the tweet of Rahul Gandhi a couple of hours back where he said, middlemen have taken control of how the vaccination drive will go forward. So what I want to say is that let us not have a trust deficit with the private sector, because I think public-private partnership will be the
Ghanshyam
essence
Tiwari.
as we move forward. And I think the fact that Bharat Biotech will produce 70 crore vaccines in a year, mind you, 70 crore, I think that's a huge number. And the fact is that the Modi government has given suppliers credit of 4,500 crore to Serum Institute and Bharat Biotech to ensure that there are no hiccups in vaccine production and rollout. So like I said, be it approving vaccines, be it ensuring
The speech
that
is
there
over.
is no
Speak.
lackadaisical approach, the central government is on the ball, the state governments need to
Ghanshyam
cooperate.
Tiwari,
And
Ghanshyam
Dr.
Tiwari is
Singh ji,
scoffing at your suggestion.
आपको जो वेंटिलेटर दिए हैं उनका इस्तेमाल कीजिए 290 वेंटिलेटर आपको दिए गए थे
Ghanshyam Tiwari is scoffing at your suggestion, but let me just remind you, Ghanshyam Tiwari and Sujata Paul both, the same companies which were called Hum Do, Hamare Do, Suit Boot Ki Sarkar, as of today, Reliance Jamnagar is giving 400 tons of oxygen every single day to Gujarat. So this is what happens at times of crisis when past resentments, past politics is set aside, if only for the time that we are fighting this crisis. Apparently, it's possible to do it in a corporate war, but it's not possible to do it in our federal political war. Ghanshyam Tiwari.
Padmaja, it was not
It was not these companies who went out and sought vote. For example, in Uttar Pradesh, on the idea of Kabristan and Shamshan in every village. But that aside, the important thing that we need to note is that the ET also states this, is that the hospitalization rate that you see in the second wave and the need for oxygen in the second wave is higher than the first wave. It's 47.5% is what the hospitalized patients require as oxygen as compared to 41.7%. In addition, the median age is also coming down. So if the government is mindful of these kind of numbers, then the strategies have to be mindful of this. If the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, if Chief Minister of Delhi is every day saying that we are running short of oxygen, the Prime Minister and his team has to respond to the Chief Minister. There's no point responding to a public audience if he is not able to communicate that to the Chief Minister.
Response is happening. I am telling you, I know for a fact that even as we speak, every day, first of all, so there are a lot of things which are either not communicated properly, and I agree there is a crisis of communication, either not communicated or deliberately miscommunicated. First of all, the allocation of oxygen to various states is being done by a nodal agency at the center. Our PSUs have been told that unless absolutely essential, your oxygen supply will now be diverted to hospitals instead of industrial processes, and that is happening via express trains that are being run. Why are you spreading the canard, Ghanshyam Tiwari, that states' request for oxygen is not being respected?
So if
Oxygen is being sent. And it is being sent to opposition party ruled states as well. This is exactly the kind of destructive politics we don't need.
If Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal is openly requesting, if Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia is requesting, if Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray is requesting, are they spreading a canard?
Sir, I can tell you for a fact that until 3 days ago, the government of Delhi said we have adequate oxygen. Then suddenly they revised the need that they have for oxygen from 300 metric ton to 700 metric ton. And within 24 hours, they are saying that we are going to run out of oxygen within a matter of a few hours. How do you expect that shortfall? Is this a problem of supply, or is this a problem of estimating how much oxygen you need?
Just because this government was sleeping at the wheel or
Of
campaigning in
course
Bengal.
not.
Every day the newspaper
last
reports
people
that
who
of
can or
deaths
should be
in
ignored are the
hospitals
ones
where
who are
oxygen
dying.
was not there. This is not a make-believe narrative put on media. These are real people dying.
Just a second.
Can
Sanju
we
Verma, just a second. Please give me silence
put
for 30
propaganda
seconds.
of the
All
media
right.
on top of it? Real people dying, and we cannot sit
Why are
here
you
and
getting,
say and
why are
praise
you getting
the Prime
offensive
Minister.
and playing this card? My question to you is very
What is the
simple,
card?
sir. My
If
question to you is, if 3 days ago, just a second, I please have to lower your audio because now you're just going to heckle me. When you cannot answer a direct question, you are just heckling me. My question to you, Ghanshyam Tiwari, is that if 3 days ago, the government of Delhi says that we have adequate oxygen, and then 24 hours later, they say we are running out of oxygen, who was mistaken in estimating their medical oxygen needs? Ghanshyam Tiwari.
government to present what forward planning it did in March. I will stop coming from any debate if this government can present a credible forward planning that they did in March. How can a government whose health minister is sitting idle and tweeting the prime minister
now
do any kind of forward planning? This government at the central level misled this country into a disaster.
If a state government does not give an adequate and realistic representation of their needs, then who should be blamed? And which is exactly what I didn't want to do, by the way, at the outset, to try and blame and point fingers at this stage and say, you did it wrong or you did it wrong. People failed. Was there a mistake in not anticipating? Dr. Bagai, I will give you the final word. Let's all agree over here that we did not anticipate the scale and the ferocity of the second wave that is now upon us. And second, that at this point, the most suicidal thing that we could do is fight and bicker with each other.
Okay, Padmaja, again from my heart, I think if we keep tripping each other when we are apparently in the same team, we'll just be scoring self-goals and press the auto-destruct button. It is not going to make any sense. As my suggestion is that we put all our intellects together. India will come out of this storm. It's been a huge crisis for us. A lot of us, including myself, have lost family members to this catastrophic pandemic. I will not go into the details, but I lost my own mother-in-law on this. This has been a huge traumatic experience for a lot of us. I've lost some of my very close medical fraternity friends. Can the opposition put their teams together and help out in the hospitals? Can the opposition put together and look after the migrants along with the government? Listen, we cannot have 65 captains in one team. There is one captain which has been elected in a democracy. We will go by him. We are foot soldiers. We have to follow instructions. Yes, we will give suggestions, but I have seen myself, Mr. Harshvardhan, Dr. Harshvardhan, and Mr. JP Nadda, and the Prime Minister and the Home Minister go to different hospitals. Can the opposition go to the various hospitals? Help us. We need help. Why are you defeating us? We are not going to save lives like this.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bagai. These are the questions that must be asked of the government. For everyone who says, why don't you question the government? These are the questions that you should be asking of the government, and we will ask. And as a starter, can we please have a centralized helpline that, one, coordinates the rescue efforts, the help efforts, and also tells people realistically where the beds are available and how to get their oxygen and medicines from. For the time being, let's hope that tomorrow brings better news. As of now, we are getting news that Uttar Pradesh and Assam have said that they will vaccinate everyone above the age of 18 for free. We'll keep getting you more details like that. For the time being, thank you very much, all gentlemen, Sanju Verma and Sujata Paul, for having joined.